Well, I told you we'd be right back, and I was not joking. Welcome back to Valorant Challengers League North America. I'm your host, Elizabeth, joined by Dryad and Roy. We were gone for so little time. It feels silly to do that, but I always got to welcome you back wherever you've been, where you're coming from. And we are ready for our second match of the day. And again, I know y'all are excited for this one. I know y'all have been waiting for this one. As soon as the stream started, y'all were like, where is this match? Where is this match? It is Envy versus QOR. Y'all were talking about it during the last match. Y'all are so excited for this match, and we have to agree on the desk. We've been talking about this one. We've been thinking about this one, analyzing this one, dare I say, with my two analysts on the desk. Dan, I'm going to throw it to you. This is our undefeated column of the Swiss stage bracket, if you will. These are two teams, QOR defeating SRB and NBG, and Envy defeating SAD and Plug. This is kind of like the creme de la creme of challengers, if you will.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one for Envy. This is nothing new, right? This is the only team that we had on the stage one go undefeated, go 4-0, and make it first seed into playoffs. But now my question is, have they been tested yet? Because yeah, we talked about it in the Swiss stage one. Oh my God, they're gonna win playoffs. They're gonna win that grand final, and then they didn't really respond when it came to playoffs. So now they've had a little bit of extra time. They're doing a couple of different things. They're still running and down like always. But this, it feels like, is the biggest test that they've had yet, right? Going against a QOR that just recently beat Shopify Rebellion Black, our favorites, our grand finalists for stage one. So it should be a really, really good match. I think that's why everybody's excited about it.
I want to throw it to you, Roy. What do you think about QOR's strength of schedule here? Because have they been tested? Have they proven themselves? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think QOR's a really interesting team. They've been forever underrated. No one ever gives them their flowers. But I think ultimately this team, from where I'm sitting, is a really well-rounded, very dynamic roster. They have a lot of vocal players. They have players that are very good in their roles. They're all specialists within their specific areas, and I feel like their dynamic works really well for them. And honestly, this is my personal dark horse of this split. I feel like I've liked what I saw from them even in split one, despite their the lack of results. But I feel like they're building and they're evolving, and the level of form that they're getting to slowly but surely is getting to a point where I can almost consider this team a top contender in this league.
I mean, these are two teams that we were talking about that are undefeated, right? And it's no small feat to defeat Shopify Rebellion Black, like we were saying before, like that true test. But someone we wanted to highlight moving forward is Snarly. I just love the name Snarly. I have to give a shout out. Snarly, if you're watching this, I love your IGN. It is so flipping cool. I mean, looking at these stats, Dan, I'm just going to throw it to you right away because this Snarly, he's different.
Has been really, really good, especially on this Tejo, as you get to see. There's a lot of, and the teams in the current meta that we're seeing right now, you're paying a lot of attention to what the Tejo players have been doing and how they're going to the side hits, how they're using the Armageddon, and things like that. That for QOR were incredibly, just insane when they were going against that matchup against Shopify Rebellion Black. Super proactive, and I feel like we're finally past that era of trying to figure out Tejo, trying to figure out the things that really work out. It's just a very clear understanding of how QOR wants to play with it and how it allows them to play a little bit more aggressive into side.
And I actually, one thing I want to mention about Snarly is the fact that, I mean, so many people were questioning why this player is off the Sentinel role, right? But to me, it makes complete sense because this player is he's very active player. He always wants to be part of the team fights, and now he's on a role where he can be in that sort of space and bring that confidence, that the challenge people confidence, into a more of a team fight dynamic. And between him and Darkest, two players on the team that are very vocal, with Timotino as well at the tip of the spear, I think that trio is a pretty dangerous one.
I'm glad you mentioned Timotino, also a great IGN on QOR. Man, they're just full of great names today. Timotino, who also was born in 2007 to 8. I remember that year, but moving forward.
Oh my God.
I know, right? Timotino on the duelist role, on that, we talked about that Your mode. We also see him on the Waylay, Roy, sometimes on Jet, but really just, he is so scary and has a great name.
Yeah, I mean, this is a duelist that's really coming into form now, right, as time goes on. At first, the conversation was about how this player was a space taker and how QOR didn't really need a superstar player, right? And he wasn't necessarily the superstar player. But now, I feel like he's finally starting to put up those performances. He's starting to put up the superstar performances. His stats have looked great. He's really finding his form. He's really finding his place within this team, and he's shining bright.
it has been really fun to see Timotino, and even the growth that he's had on this team of QOR. From the beginning, I was honestly just doubting a little bit of what QOR had been doing with Timotino a lot of this year, more often than not, and it just seems like they were not really finding themselves just yet. But with a couple of reps, with what they were able to learn from stage 1, they look amazing, and Timotino is one of those guys who's constantly starting those fights. He's the second best rated player that we have, and guess who's first? Just take a guess.
Oh, is it King's
Roy, you're
era?
the analyst. You do it.
Exactly.
The easiest question. Yes, I'm so smart. Look at me, guys.
Wow, it's almost like you're an analyst. But I'm gonna ask you a question about Timotino, Dan. We've been talking a lot about kind of like the duelist styles. You said he's really kind of come into himself and found his confidence. How would you describe his playstyle as a duelist? Because we've been highlighting duelists all weekend.
Yeah, it's honestly this whole challenger split is very different to what we saw at the beginning, where it was like this up-and-comer duelist that we were trying to figure out how they were gonna kind of set the team up for success, or or if it was the other way around. I think for Timotino, he's still finding a little bit of that space. He looks the best on the Yoru. He's so proactive on the Yoru, and the team was able to grab a lot of map control thanks to that. I think the Waylay was not my favorite, I gotta say, when they played against Shopify Rebellion Black. They played it on this map of Lotus, and on Challengers, we've seen that Waylay being played in a lot more maps that we see in VCT and at the very top. So for Lotus, I don't think it was my favorite. I'd much rather go with the classic Yor that is working out so well for him, and we're seeing teams kind of test it out and then go back to something like that. So if we're going to go in a map of Lotus, maybe that instead. That was I think is my only comment on his recent performance. But I mean, the team is undefeated. He's still fragging out. Everybody's playing so well around him, playing so well around the Waylay as well, to be fair. But it's just those little things that you can fix when you're going against an Envy that is also undefeated.
Brilliant segue, Dan, from the Envy. Yes, that is the team that they will be facing today. Again, both teams are undefeated in the Swiss stage. Roy is laughing because that was such a good segue. And I know a lot of you chat are in here for them. Welcome. We are so happy to have you here. And Envy, I mean, I think they were a team that just kind of have been constantly, Roy, been proving the doubters wrong every single damn time they play a match.
Guys, honestly, I was one of those doubters. That's me. I was one of the doubters. I'll admit it. Okay, I completely doubted this team in the first split. I thought their style would not convert, but after actually doing a deep dive into the way they play this game, into how they approach it, I genuinely feel like they have stumbled on this weird niche meta that works extremely well for them, especially with how relevant Yoru is. I feel like their compositions make sense. Their style and identity is completely clear. And ultimately, this team, despite their shortcomings in split 1, I still feel like this roster is coming with a chip on their shoulders. They have a lot to prove, and their last 2 results have been outstanding.
Yes, and really, I mean, we always talk about, you know, the kind of the stars here. Obviously, people have like popular fan bases coming in here. We would be remiss if we did not mention that one of those folks who has really proved themselves as such a stellar, tried and true, again, stoic player on this team is Poppin. The other game that I hosted with him the other day, I was just constantly, Dan, just draw on the floor with Poppin, what his tenacity and cerebralness.
Oh, those are some crazy words here.
I know, Roy, you went high octane, and I was like, I gotta break out the SAT vocab word book again.
It's super fun. It's super fun to see Poppin in the way that he's playing around a team that likes to run it down, right? And that has been the narrative from them, and it continues to be that narrative that we have of Envy. So, what do you need for a team that wants to play that fast? An initiator that is able to play as fast and either whether it's going to be with the Sova or with the Fade, kind of get that info very early on, so your 2 or 1 duelist is able to jump in right into the fight. Not only that, but it's just a perfect mix that you have of setting up your team, but also being able to frag out yourself when things get a little tricky, when your duelist is getting traded off. You see Poppin right away trying to help out and doing so very successfully. They're undefeated even in maps, and you know that is not something that QOR can say they have right now.
Okay, and to add on to that as well, Poppin, you know, first split, he wasn't really having the best statistics showing, right? But there's a heavy IGL tax, guys. You got to pay your IGL taxes. And I feel like now it's a split 2 where they've doubled down on their style instead of like swapping things around and reforming everything. Like, no, they're willing to accept their identity. They've doubled down on it. And I think that playing within their comfortability, playing with what works for them has allowed Poppin to just like be a lot more focused, a lot more in the moment, because the mental load is just getting easier and easier as everyone's on the same page with how they want to approach the game.
And you know what works for Exter? It's Yoru. The tried and true classic. I don't think you could pry it out of his hands at any point in time. You all know him. You love him. I see you in chat again getting so excited that he just appeared on screen for y'all, Dan. But he's kind of the Yoru meta king almost. I feel comfortable calling him that. He gets the agent down to like almost molecular level. I'm on a roll with my vocab. I'm so sorry. But he's just someone who just understands his agent through and through.
Well, he is Yoru, in case you...
Oh, shoot.
Like the actual, like lore accurate Yoru?
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yes, he is Yoru. I don't know if you guys don't know. I mean, if his recent agent doesn't tell you that, I don't know what. Well, this guy only playing Yoru. And towards the beginning of stage 1, everybody was like, wow, this is so cringe. Why is he one-tricking Yoru all the time? And then they go undefeated for the Swiss stage. And it's like, okay, maybe, you know what? I get it. But not only is he... playing to his strengths, but he's just playing into the meta right now. The meta right now is playing around this Yoru, what he's able to do alongside Kinzera, whatever he's going to be playing, that Jet or the ISO as well, to set him up for success. And it's just, I mean, it's just so smart. It's working out for a lot of teams, and on top of that, you have the best Yoru that we have in the league. It's perfect.
I think it's safe to say that he has the most refined Yoru tech in the league, if not in the region, to be honest. Like his tech is by far the best, the most advanced. He's the most in tune with how he affects the macro. And I think that's part of the extra allure on this roster, is that he doesn't have to put up these superstar performances because he has Kinzera, he has all these other, he has Inspire, he has all these players, Ion, right? Like he doesn't need to be. So what he's taken on within this roster is sort of like very annoying macro level character where he's getting on the lines, he's taking the map control, he's like manipulating a lot of the big picture stuff, and that pressure is a big part of this team's success.
Well, these teams, one of them will have to lose when they face each other, and someone, whoa, yeah, I can use vocab words, but I can't speak. A head-to-head we wanted to highlight for you all is Timotino versus Kane Zera. Now, we were highlighting Exter just now, but we would be remiss, Roy, if we did not talk about Kane Zera on Envy. You know, like you just talked about, and you brought up while we were talking about Exter. This is a matchup to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, wait, Dan, when you said Kinzera was number 1, I didn't realize it was this close. Like this is a 380-yard difference between both of these players, right? And we hold Kinzera to such a high regard. So I think you guys are absolutely right. This is going to be a battle of these two Zoomer duelists. Like they are both Zoomers. That's crack Zoomers. That's all there is to say about these players. It's gonna be a lot of firepower. There's gonna be a lot of frag. There's gonna be a lot of highlight reels. I'm personally looking forward to it.
It's so fun. It's the number 1 and the number 2 rated players that we have so far in the couple of weeks that we've had of Challengers just yet for stage 2. And it's for a good reason, right? What I admire the most about Kinzera specifically is that it just seems like he has no fear of anything. It doesn't matter what the situation is inside of that round. If your Yoru is getting taken down, if it's a clutch situation, whatever it is, Kinzera is able to clutch it more than anyone else. And this is also super young player. So as you were saying, these two Zoomers going against each other to see, I mean, if Kinzera is going to get that number 1 spot still, or Timotino wants to take over, it's great. It's going to be, honestly, a great game.
It's going to be such a treat. And Dan, I do want to highlight, you and I are both technically Zoomers. I just want to put that out there. Like, by technicality, we are one of them.
Sure.
Sure, no, but by birth year, we relate to them. But it will be QOR versus NV Gaming moving forward. And we have some map picks and bans for you, something that we are very excited for. Where is Yoru gonna go? And right away, we see that QOR has picked Pearl. Haven is picked by NV, and we will be ending on Ascent. We've seen a lot of Ascent this weekend, so it feels, if we go to Ascent, a perfect way to end it. I mean, Roy, I see a Pearl, and I think that's a Yoru's playground.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And I think both of these teams have the Yoru on this map. So it's going to be quite a battle. But I'm not surprised to see this map getting picked by QOR, right? We saw them play it against Shopify Rebellion Black. It was a 13-4 victory against that roster. They absolutely blew them out of the water. And historically speaking, Pearl has shown cracks for the NV side. I'm not surprised they've picked it. But that being said, we really haven't seen too much from NV, guys. They've in both of their matches, they have been complete sweeps. We've even the maps that we did see from Envy, we didn't even get to see that many rounds. Like, there's so much of what Envy is going to be coming up with on this first map. We don't really know. Are they comp swapping? Are they still playing the same composition? Like, what is happening? How are they approaching the map differently? There are so many looming question marks, but I'm not surprised to see getting picked by QOR, and I'm curious to see how Envy is going to be approaching this first map.
Yeah, like you said, Roy, they just haven't really played it as much, and that leaves us wondering if they're going to be playing the same. It feels like it's just not one of those teams that is changing things drastically just because it's a composition that seemed to suit them. But they did lose that in overtime against M80 a long time ago. So I'm wondering if it's going to be the same. I do love the double duelist on Pro. It's just something that fits them. It's something that has worked for other teams. And even though there's a possibility of changing things around, I'm happy with this Envy comp.
Yes, and we have some predictions for you all. As a reminder, I was right. I was the only one that was right earlier. Will I be right again? But we are more split than last time. Tenrek is joining me on the Envy train. Chat, I must say, you've convinced me about Exter and Cainzera. I'm on the train. I'm with you all. But Roy, you said last time for the SRB Winthrop match, that was more of like a 55-45. Is that similar for you right now?
Yeah, no, I think this is like a 51-49 for QOR. I'm actually surprised to see so many QOR picks, to be honest. I feel like Envy just has shown insane form. So QOR must be doing something right to win everybody's hearts. But yes, I do think QOR has a weird dark horse energy to them. I think this is if anyone's going to beat Envy early on, QOR is the underdog team to do it. I'm here for it. I'm ready to see what they're going to be bringing to us.
If it wasn't because of that core match against Shopify Rebellion Black, I would have just put Envy 100%. But the way that the map played out, this map of Pro specifically just gave me all the indications of what they were going to be. Oh my God, they're playing right now. Oh my God, they're playing right now.
I'm so sorry. Oh, where's our ISO?
Where's my? That's what I was about to say. Where's my
Change my prediction. Change my prediction.
Yo, what?
I mean, wow. Dan, why do you want to change your prediction? I gotta ask you.
Reina, my beloved. Reina, I love you. Reina, if you're there, if you're real, I love you. And whoever picks Reina, they're on my side. So Cainzera picking Reina, this is so fitting for them. It's just so funny because you see it for any other team and it's like, okay, what are we doing? But you see it for Envy, it's like, yeah, Cainzera playing Reina. Why not?
Roy, what do you think QOR is thinking right now, seeing this agent select?
They're either laughing or they're trembling, and I don't think there's any other middle ground here, to be honest. But the other thing that I'm noting as well is that Envy's chosen to opt for the Cypher over the Vice. Obviously, Cypher has been the trademark agent for Inspire. I'm not surprised to see it. I'm just curious to see what kind of setups he's going to have, because I have a feeling he's going to have some very refined setups for us and some very refined attack pathing. So I'm excited to see that from the Envy side.
Well, folks, I know the only people more ready for this match than us and chat are our two wonderful casters who had opposite predictions. So Tenrek, nerds, talk about it. What do you think?
Oh, man, I can feel Dan punching the air from here after her other team picked Reina, dude. Holy. But what an exciting switch up from Envy out the gate after, like Roy mentioned, we have yet to really see what they're truly capable of. On the flip side, QOR have gone absolutely bonkers in their previous two matches, showing a lot of what they can do in this new split. And spoiler alert, it is quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on the QOR train for a little bit. I think QOR has been doing a lot in terms of consistency in this map. Also, just, huge shout outs to, their entire roster as a QOR. But on the flip side, Envy bringing out the Reina I feel like that's a dark horse in and of itself. But what Liz said rings true, right? I'm on the QOR side of things. You picked Envy. Are you comfortable with this Reina pick, or?
I almost want to lean back in my chair and watch the fireworks here. Are you kidding me? We're talking about Cainzera, right? Just to be clear, we're talking about Cainzera.
We just wait until he whips out an Odin.
Oh, brother.
But truly though, it's going to be a very intense match. Off the start, though, a lot of mid control just to reel it back into analysis. Good mid control coming out here on Pearl. This map has had a lot of consistency with pistol round mid control.
100% agreed. Timotino really been flexing the Euro, honestly, since day one of his fleshing into the meta. Been quite the pioneer here in North America, and almost as invasive as Exter's one-tricking has been. Will be some stiff competition in this attack. That'll look pretty consistent on this A site. Rest of the stack, though, unfortunately won't manage the peaks, and popping an eye on each get one to open things up. Nerve wraparound back from spawn, can't manage to crack open a kill.
Oh, and immediately that mid control falls. Just some really solid aim and positioning out of Envy. At this point, KaneZera proving even more so why they deserve to play on that arena.
Cage triggered.
Definitely sure we'll see more of him getting a little greedy with it, but for now, it'll be Inspire to intercept the remaining 2 players who will not hold down this spike drop. Nobody gonna extend. Extra gonna be the first to peek out. Inspire for the trade back to grab the remaining 2. So Envy's defense starts out very disciplined, very slow, and very dominant.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, it's something we expect out of Envy. That's the beautiful part of it, is that some people think like, oh, Envy's just gonna go run in there and start taking fights and whatnot. No. They're very good about being consistent, and the signing of them, of the roster to a professional org, only added legitimacy to a lot of their strategies and the way that they've been playing, and honestly bolstered them up here. Now going into it, they're gonna buy up, popping on the Ares KaneZera with a rifle in hand, and this is where the run-up really starts. A lot of aim control, really similar to the previous game we saw.
Your first attempt at a real ramp up here. Timatino attempts to gain some extra space with the TP behind the boxes, but Envy will quickly take it back. KaneZera gonna walk out with this clear, gonna go ahead and get a little greedy. And
wow.
with a spray like that, I'm sure that you have every reason to feel greedy. I'll give the man his ultimate.
I mean, yeah, just one-off Empress at this point. I mean, think of it this way, right? If we have Yoru being this, you know, yokai, this trickster, teleporting all over the place, and then we have this, like, greed incarnate. It goes from, like, a very... I mean, honestly, it's like a bunch of different gods almost clashing against each other, from tricksters to greed to... whatever you have over there for the rest of the team. I guess you could have the astral form be something there as well, but regardless, Envy has definitely shown us some fireworks here, Tenric.
Yeah, out the gate, certainly a little exciting. Arcro's ignored in favor of the intel. Extra steps out, grabs a Darkest that doesn't have 150 HP. In fact, no one on core does this round. Dangerous one to be pushing into this outlaw that Exter will continue to make some noise with on the outskirts of this B lane. Core dispersing back over into mid to vie for this control that they've been a little more adept at, and Timatino learning that TP has now been procced.
Okay. Interesting play, and you know, good way to get out for Timatino as well, using their own. The mid crawl has been... it didn't work previously on the pistol. It's been tumultuous, but hopefully it can come through here. KaneZera thinking better of it, though.
First shot's out, immediately counteracted. KaneZera now gonna get greedy on top of it. Sprays through from Logan, but they aren't gonna finish, and that means KaneZera is just gonna chase you down. What else do you expect from this Envy squad? I would hope Core sure expects it, but they're still not turning around yet. They've got a full send onto the site. Logan finally turns back and does deal with KaneZera, but quite low. And Ion chipping away with this Spectre from the steps, tucks back into his own Nebula as the rest of Envy continue to course forward. Logan, cover fire, but 10 seconds left on the clock, and now it's Inspire's turn to peek. Envy have the shuffle and more than enough to work with for the remaining seconds that Core wait out this round that Envy inevitably win.
I mean, talk about fireworks. More than fireworks, KaneZera has just been straight farming here, and it's really proving why KaneZera picked this agent, right?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, hey, you know, we've seen some gaps, some weaknesses here. We could, you know, go and like try and flush things out, or put KaneZera on Clove to have extra stall potential for some sort of counterplay. No. Why do all of that? None of that matters. We have Leers and we have KaneZera with their ultimate here, which has been like, why not? Just let them farm. Let him cook.
Truly, we have abandoned any semblance of irony as Envy. KaneZera has surpassed any expectation or statistic you could think of. There's Exter on his own swing. He's good for 2 this round, and KaneZera as the secondary duelist there to follow it up pretty soon after. Cover fire well placed, but Core staying respectful, and Nerve spray down on the Frenzy. It's just about bloody perfect. Ion with the refrag, though, restricts this to a 2 1v1 that Darkest is forced to invade upon.
Locating targets.
Big benefit though out of Darkest is they pick up an equalizing weapon, but everything else is stacked against them. The utility does get refreshed, so salvo's available for this post plant. It's going to be going down. A double up though out of Ion and Eggster really starts to ramp up here. You're waiting for a lot of that Astra utility to be refreshed. Darkest up close, waiting for the fight.
Here's the steps, ready to swing into it. Immediate first blind. TP out. They tried to bait it. Now the stun nade. They'll confirm his position, and now the salvos will force Ion out. Ion still wins the fight.
I mean, oh my god, that's so crazy.
He doesn't even need the help. Are you kidding me?
That's crazy. Yeah, I think it's weird. It's crazy that me and you are on the same level right now, because we both were thinking like, why did Eggster's gone?
Like that wasn't played well, and he still wins that.
Eggster's gone. He's gone. He's out. He's out of here. He's gone to Timbuktu and back. He's flown across the globe, and still Ion wins it. I mean, we're talking about a dark horse. It's a dark day for Core at this point. Like, 4-0 start. It's been what has felt like less than a minute into the game. That's not like accurate at all, but it feels like we haven't even been into it. If Lotus on the very first top of the day felt like 2 maps, this has felt like not even the beginning of one. This has felt like 1 round, and it's been consistently dominated by Envy.
Time to jump.
One slip up, of course. The kryptonite here for Envy. They miss 1 Invader, 1 Timitino, 1 Darkest. That gets inside. You are cooked. Whole reset can get activated here, but you keep winning fights if you're Envy. And KaneZera is going to take another one.
I think at that point, that's just like it's just an unlucky moment, right? Because you're holding out for them, which is the correct play in the moment. You hold for such an over-aggressive team, but still, KaneZera just wins. It's just straight up a diff in the moment. And at that point, it's less of a like analytical moment and more of like a unlucky moment.
Yeah, genuinely. So much of this you just can't do anything about unless you are truly better at the game. That's the kind of aura that Envy gives off at this point right now in the Swiss stage. It's the same kind of vibe that the Rankers did back in the first Swiss.
Decoy.
Core,
Cutting through.
give the approach on to be a try here. They'll have the TP gate crash off the blind into Inspire, and he gets the kill off of it. Timitino single-handedly can open up this B space. Envy is ready for it, and there's 20 seconds on the clock, and you know for a fact they're going to be able to fight this. Darkest holding down this spike though, and there's enough coverage for Envy to stay away. Armageddon now on top of this plant to force out these members of Envy a little bit longer. They'll all channel into help as this Owl Drone comes out to confirm Timitino's position. Logan holding from Plaza as well. Personnel advantage. Eggster pops out first. Good kill on that. Timitino stunned in the back. KaneZera for there. Trade away off the Cosmic Divide, and it's just down to this 2v2 now. Eggster steps inside the divide, jumps up, heard by Snarly, and that's caught. Just down to Ion. Not much more time to work with on this ultimate. Not much more time, period. Wins the fight, though. That'll be the round, though, for Core. An operator is what Ion will escape with. Oh, he won't. Tragic.
Oh. Even when Core do everything right, they have dropped everything. Not only do they lose all their players, but they still manage to come out at a deficit, which is truly the aura, right? We talked about that earlier, that Envy has brought to the table. But really good round out of Core nonetheless. They used a lot of ultimates, the Steel Garden being really pivotal in that moment. A lot of the stall utility was there. That's another element that, you know, we have here, is that Darkest being alive near the end is super critical normally. But when you're playing against such an unorthodox Envy, using that ultimate preemptively allowed Core to set up better for the stall on the site. Now, the mid fight comes through.
Immediately swung upon. KaneZera will lose out on that. And the moment Envy are forced to try to switch things up, Core are ready to respond to it in kind. Now, able to fight even more passively for that mid control, which they can infect upon so viciously in the future.
Because that initial fight also went in Core's favor, they're starting to ramp up some of their steam. Snarly with the Nightfall as well as the Dimensional Drifts could be a solid combo. Dimensional Nightfall something like that. But regardless, Envy have counters of their own. Inspire went away from theirs. Exter has the dimensional drift on top of Poppin. But still, it's just a slow play out of Core. They do not want to show their hand just yet, especially now that they have the player advantage.
Dimensional drift used by Timotino to try to twist that knife. Camera shot out in Plaza to get this full pathway going and let Timotino really stretch his legs. He'll clear out all of that back of B site, and Exter tries to peek the creep up from Plaza. Doesn't get anything done. Core have a pretty clean take of B site from here, and even a decoy to get rid of that trap wire real quick so that Envy can't even peek off of that closing angle post plant. Now Core have the entirety of site and the man advantage. I don't know if Envy even wants to fight this.
No, I think Core did a really good job of dismantling it. You find the duelists, and now that the duelists are dead, you now have a really good chunk of sight. Allow Timotino to play out there, leave all of that stall utility, and just be like, hey, we have Darkest up. Salvos are going to be refreshed on top of the fact that we have C's available for Snarly. There it is. Salvos are refreshed just in time, and that's even better because Timotino is now trying to push into enemy territory. Because if Core is going to try and snowball this back into their favor, they're going to need to not only start it now, but also really take some of these weapons out. Unfortunately, I guess I overcooked it with the casting calls because Envy does bite back, denies the flawless, but great round out of Core nonetheless.
I need a drop.
Able to attack these multiple channels at once, looking really clean so far from Core. Just enough respect played to Envy's pinpoints as well. Kainzera really the only one getting overindulgent at this point in the game. Now that we're 6 rounds in, Envy understands how warm Core is and want to make sure that they play for their life a little more consistently here. 2 and 3 to start things out here on the defense. Understanding Core does not want to play for this mid space any more than just the doors for the first 20, 25 seconds of play.
And Core has been doing really, really good on their slow play, right? It's helped them a lot in terms of curbing some of the Envy aggression. If they stack into an area, they know Envy is going to try and find an isolated pick on them. And now, speaking of, A main control was not contested by either side, and that's going to give Core an inkling of information. The stack should be here, and they're going to try and fight through it.
Empty gravity well as Timotino TP's in. Kainzera can at least counteract that first focal point of the push, but the front of the site is taken over by Core. There's nobody on the art swing, so Envy have to play back. As Logan creeps up through that midway, Envy have everybody up here in dugout and Flowers. Dimensional drift will confirm 2 positions on site. And he'll fight for those 2 alone. Try and cut this fight in half. But the spray through from Darkest is so good. For 2, in fact, and Snarly has the wraparound by then. Core find the momentum in the bleakest of moments to keep the streak going for themselves.
And we're not starting to see some of that same power out of Envy that we saw previously, right? The first 4 rounds felt like a flash in the pan because they were going and fighting out so well and finding Core in these moments. Core doing a really good job of saying, hey, if we're going to be caught off guard in all these moments, just don't get caught off guard. We need to play the game better. Fall back. If they're going to be unorthodox, we're going to make sure to be unorthodox. Well, actually, really orthodox by being very cognizant of playing on that back line. They're not necessarily pushing in or fighting into A main early. They're not going for early B control, B main control specifically. They're not fighting anything early. And because of that, it's tripped up Envy, who were sort of half expecting that. They did try to adapt some things, right? Not fighting out for A main control, but leaving the Cypher setup there. And because that didn't work, they just fought straight through it with some crucial ultimates on Core's side. Envy now need to take a timeout. I also am enjoying the fact that Envy, because with the added coaching staff and all that stuff, can take timeouts like this, a preemptive one. It's going to be a slightly weaker buy for Envy, and more than the weaker buy, it is a form of concern. Core is most likely going to get their 4th here, and they're going to be on even footing.
Preemptive timeout like this could be called to see if they could find a round with these ultimates. Poppin, known to go for these chase downs with the Hunter's Fury, and of course with the Neural Theft, you can get the early read that Envy love to work off of so fearlessly in the mid round. So trying to find some structure in a round where normally Core would be able to very easily farm, and so they'll still play back despite the fact that they know it's likely that KaneZero won't be getting too feisty this round. In fact, he's holding with his buddy Poppin.
Oh, really good discipline out of Timo
Oh,
Tino.
wow.
So smart. And I think that's another thing out of Core is like they're gonna give Envy all the respect. That's how I think Core was able to upset Shopify Rebellion and do so much is because they are now being such a disciplined roster, right? It's crazy to say this. And even crazier to see on the kill feed. KaneZero finds Timo Tino.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he wins that fight, to be completely honest with you, but he does. Ion now stuck inside this Nebula. Snarly sprays through the intuition. Nabs a kill for free. And Core once again have their pick of the litter with sight. 40 seconds on the clock here. KaneZero trying to chase down another one, but Core on the run. They'll make it back to a two-man infected site.
Yeah, they're just going to run towards B. They do not want to fight KaneZero. It feels like a avoid the KaneZero moment, which honestly, fair enough. But even more than that, KaneZero is the only one with a weapon, so it makes sense.
Salvo is really going to sting Eggster as he tries to contest the Cosmic Divide. Beautifully placed C's to nab Eggster in the back hall as well. And now you can get really abrasive with it. Snarly just kind of getting disrespectful. And that actually lets KaneZero cut through as Logan is stuck outside of that divide. But the rest of Core from lane should have this fight wrapped up. KaneZero has to get the ace to clutch up. And I think they have a smoke to cycle through as well. Minimal health, and Darkus can just spray it down to tie us up at 4 now.
Yeah, but a lot closer out of Envy at this point. Playing a bit more for the retake and reactive to it. KaneZero really being that difference maker for why it got so close. But 4 rounds in a row for both sides. And again, right, it's a stark difference that I want to highlight between the teams. Core was playing it slow, whereas on the flip side, Envy likes to play it fast. And now, this is truly where the timeout is going to be tested on round number 9 after the eco buy. Another little element to kind of throw into this is the fact that you have Armageddon on Darkus and 3 ultimates on Envy. We have Inspire's Neural Theft, Poppin's Hunter's Fury, and an Empress online for KaneZero.
Envy have a whole lot of tempo control at the moment. They can spring the trap at any moment or multiple this round. The main thing to do is just shut down Core one time to get something started one more time this round. Extra aggressive as always on top of the flash. Good for just the one. And Core see the sign. They have to run forward now or never. Armageddon into the back hall. Inspire stuck inside this cyber cage. Not found just yet. Just a little bit of chip damage done, but he can't step outside at the moment. Hunter's Fury to distract, but he can't find the finishing kill. Luckily, Poppin can though, and he does some cut into the remainder of default as well. Logan though ready for the peek from KaneZero, and now some more from Poppin below. But the angle timing is okay for him to at least get on the site. Snarly from the back, call for the peek out, and now it's effectively a 1v3. Then Poppin might just win! He finds both on top of Spike! Snarly at least finds the wrap back, but now in the 1v1 against Ion, who will win it?
Oh my
it's
God.
never clean, but it's always entertaining as hell. Envy have the lead back.
They snatch it away. Snarly just delays, all I gotta say, and this poem just ends in a melancholy way. I don't know what else to say, because you have the fight come through. It's down to the wire. It looked very clean out of Core, right? Yes, it's super unfortunate Eggster managed to take down your duelist, and then you had Poppin come on in. But Poppin pops out, immediately finding the 3-piece out on the, actually the 2-piece on the site and 1 with the ultimate. But I digress. That's 1 ultimate in comparison for 1. And more than that, they now have pretty even footing yet again. Since Core managed to pick up 4 in a row, they do have the money for this. But if they don't pick this up, and if the Timo Tino glass op does not do enough damage, oh, well, then it's going to be a very slippery slope for Core.
Lot hinging on where Core can spin this. Ults on the horizon, and so Envy held on to quite a few of theirs.
Time to jump.
Good old-fashioned Q battle, potentially. But hopefully not. They're just walking up in mid. There's good info gathering out of Envy. They're playing it very sedentary like they have been, and they're ready to fight when they need to. They even have a gate crash sent out. If you look at the minimap, folks, always call that out, because they're preparing for an A retake with this Behold.
Not nearly enough power to intercept this, and Ion, truthfully, in quite the vulnerable spot unless he's able to skirt past this Nebula with just enough time to know that Core is here, but they're so damn quiet, it might not matter. Timo Now spun around with this operator, and Exter's been caught. A-Site fits Core like a glove. The dimensional drift to suss out Ion. The ping war will almost do enough, but now popping back on to cover for his buddy, and he's gonna do it. Darkest jumps up to finally deal with that swiftly, but 15 seconds left to go. Not spiked down just yet, and Darkest, they know where that spike is going, so he's quite low at this point. Nerve steps back out, though. He's good for 2. It's got to come down to Kane's arrow, who's popped that Empress now. Another clutch potential for this duelist that just continues to do the impossible. Can he do it one more time to get Envy to a 2-round lead? Steps out, 1 gone for Logan. 1v1 versus Darkest.
Salvos are online, so they're waiting for the tap.
Doesn't even wait for it. It's a mistiming on both ends, but now it's Darkest's turn to swing, and he makes it work! Tying us back up at 5.
Wow. You can, again, right? Like, you see it. Core's doing a lot of things right. The slow. We're talking a snail's pace down mid. They've made no noise. It felt like I needed to, you know, freshen up almost. It's like I have time to go grab popcorn and snacks and everything to get into it here. And even then, it still comes down to the wire for the 1v1. This time on the utility doesn't matter at the end of the day. Core picks it up, but talking about utility, those ultimates are going to be cycled back in. Logan won off theirs. Nightfall already available for Snarly. On the flip side, it's an eco out of Envy. Core deny this roll.
Not ready yet.
Oh my god.
My ultimate's ready.
And now they'll deny
Lord.
every step of the eco. No peeker grabbing anything cheeky this time around.
Don't get into our territory. This is Core gaming here. And another shout for Core is that, you know, I've seen them a lot, like the Tier 3 lands as well, the HyperX Momentum series, and I've seen them play a lot. So it's huge props for them for not only making it this far, but also being able to put up such a fight. The core that they've kind of worked around, even more so specifically a player like Logan or Timotino, though I've seen specifically Logan, I remember seeing them at LAN with Burger Boys back in the day, and I was thinking to myself, man, this player really does have good fundamentals into it. So I'm happy to see their personal growth on this core of a team, I guess, or stack that they have.
The roster changes coming into this split have been looking really great. Good to see the opportunities that's been given to these new faces for the squad. As Core already had a really solid split previously, so all they wanted to do is just shoot for the moon.
Interestingly enough for Core, I think the only thing they swapped was their coach. So the actual core stays the same, the stack. But that is, I mean, is that what really got them? That's a really good question. Like, is the coaching staff the big kind of kicker that has helped Core kind of level up as a squad here?
Still a very young Swiss stage we have. It's still a very young game, don't we? As Core will nab the lead back here, 6-5. One more round here on defense for Envy to try to make a dent. They do have a good amount in the tank as well, so they can play for multiple phases. They can play to be annoying in the pre-plant. They can go for that Cosmic Divide in the late round. You can do a whole bunch of things. World is really your oyster. It's just a question of when you're going to decide to poke your head out. And for Envy, the answer is when I choose to. There is no rhyme or reason.
I love that, though. It really does make them super interesting to watch. Another thing to note is that you're one off of both Poppin and Eggster getting their ultimates here, so they have really good retake potential. Eggster, the patented B aggression that we've come to know and hate and love in different ways.
He's gonna do it again. Timotino spots him out. One shot missed. And wouldn't you believe it, the guy's gonna stick around and give it another try. There's the blind out. They turn it. It just doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Because now he has his ultimate, so then the retake becomes that much simpler. You get info, allow the rest of the team to flood in, and you're good to go.
Nightfall onto site, and yeah, Eggster is going to go ahead and drift it now, confirm these positions, and let the Hunter's Fury find the rest. Huge pings available here for Poppin, who tags 3, tags total worth of damage. Eggster can do the rest of the chip along with the rest of the Envy squad, and that will be a swift round 12 that Envy will nab back. We're tied up going into the half.
I find it very comical that Unfortunately, Inspire could not get that elimination, couldn't get the kill on Nerve. Gets them down to 1 HP. Reswings. Nerve is like looking for the trade, like doesn't expect Inspire to reswing. Gets taken down as a result of it. A little comical bookend to what was like, it was a weird half, right? It started off a little one-sided, became, a little bit of a brawl near the very end. And now we're heading into the pistol for both of these teams. And QOR have definitely studied up on how Envy played it. And Envy have definitely patched some of those cracks. They got the spackle out. They're building up their walls.
Timatino gonna gauge some shots in the B cubby. Oh, Snarling, good catch on a KaneZera who gets a little greedy. Envy still just looking for that golden nugget to find their way onto site with. Nothing to write home about this yet. Got to double up on a lane now, though, with Ion holding that spike and on such low health.
Oh, I don't know if they anticipated the gap there. It does hold 2 towards the B side out of that Cypher cage, so now they have to enter towards the A site. They know the shear's been popped.
Spire, just gonna hold down on it. QOR, let them step on here, wait for Salvos to proc, now they will. Round 2 of the fight now for QOR as Nerve and Snarly continue to chip away through these walls. Get some chip damage done to them in the process as well. Now come the shock darts, and Poppin will fully clear Snarly with that Wombo combo. Now you got to spread the rest of it out, and Extra's been stepping in and out. It was inevitable that he would find one next. Envy feeling the heat now and starting to ride it. Working the front of this site, and QOR now working the back in response. 2 kills in tandem for them to turn this personnel advantage right back in their direction, and the site with it.
Okay, I mean, I was expecting to see it. Initial kind of contact come through. Huge props for QOR on that re-entry, finding and picking up the pistol. I want to see KaneZera come alive a lot more, right? The top of the leaderboard started off super hot, super aggro. Attack is going to be even better for them. We're going to have to wait at least 1 or 2 more rounds. I mean, Envy, they could buy up here. I just doubt that it's going to be everyone. It's KaneZera to buy up. I mean, I wanted KaneZera to come alive, and KaneZera has a stinger in hand here.
Incredible gumption to go for a buy like this, but KaneZera intends to take these strictly close range fights. Yeah, here it goes. He is
Run it down.
I mean, yeah, this is the equivalent of a sprint. That could be quiet, and with Timatino missing a shot and Kane landing everything, it seems like the fates were calling to him to buy that gun. Destiny knew that he was gonna get a kill. But can the rest of Envy? No, but so far, KaneZera can find Darkest on the runaway as he's infiltrated all the way through Art. Envy can now really work this A site. QOR, what remains of it on here, already gonna step away. Are we gonna hold close with the stinger? Has the haunt out, but guess who's already walked past it? Guess who's already walked past everything? Guess who has Snarly with his knife out on sight? And it's just given Envy the opportunity to swipe away the follow-up.
Oh, man. That's a carried over weapon here. Now they have 2 stingers on a close range engagement of an A site here. And look, they're hunting. They're going for a re-wrap through water to take them by surprise here. I don't think QOR's expecting this at all. There was a little hesitancy, but they definitely don't see this coming.
Not a chance. And given the time to do it just enough, and they have the people to poke back out of the back. Nerve is ready, but can't match shot-wise. And at this stage, it's a barrel roll. Timatino, the last one standing. Oh, now chasing him down. He's gonna make this hard for them now that the spike is taken away. And they get 1 more on the board. There you go.
Oh.
But what a round from Envy. I mean, to every extent, that was just so well played. And KaneZera activated at the perfect moment. Destiny called on him that round, bro.
Yeah. I mean, truly, it was a moment of like, guys, watch this. I can do it. I can do it, folks. And you know what? I mean, I anticipate everyone has got to be hyping them up, right? Because Envy's such a clouded roster. You have Kane Zera Young coming in here from streaming. Same thing with Extra and Poppin and the rest of this squad. They've come from content and grinding ranked, and now they're here, and they're showing such prowess. To the point where Kane Zera is buying an Outlaw here up against like basically a nothing buy, a nothing burger of a buy out of Core. So it's going to start to snowball for Envy. I mean, I don't know. You know what? Maybe I'll hold that back. Retract that. Not a snowball just yet, but it's going to start building for Envy. Is a better word.
Tensions mounting as Envy's power grows, and no one can box out the initial B take. Close range is dangerous for Ion, but he holds on and nabs two for himself. Yeah, there's still an asterisk here. Unfortunately, Nerve unable to do anything until the bitter end and can't land a shot as the smoke fades away. Tragic timing, my brother. Snarly now stands alone on the outskirts of B for a potential flawless from Envy here in the, well, I suppose, slanted bonus.
That's so funny because it's just like, there's just one on the site. They now know. Wait, did Poppin just bait for Kane Zera to take that fight to get the ultimate orb? And they still get the flawless. Because that's probably what happened. But even then, I don't even know if Kane Zera had all time. I'm losing my mind here. I think Tenric, I've lost the goop. And Envy has really shown up here today. Still though,
we've entered the Twilight Zone, y'all.
Music aside, Core, I'm gonna get back into this. You guys have a lot to work with. Team Atino's close to the ultimate. Hopefully, the Twilight Zone shenanigans continue, though, because it's only putting a smile on my face seeing how silly Envy has been able to do it and how Core has been able to bite back.
Yeah, definitely always a response still coming from Core. Timatino. Same pillar presence that is forced out by the recon dart tossed by Poppin.
Cage triggered.
Who continues to go for these Sova picks in a meta that continuously tries to ask him to stray from it, but the ubiquity in his ability to just enable from any site, from any point of the map against with these two duelists that are just so damn good. You can't resist it if you're Poppin. Exter will take care of this Odin. Now baits out the stun grenade as well as a flash. 3 stack here on the dugout that's stalled away as the spike goes down.
And now on the retake, though, they do have crucial pieces of info. Yes, Snarly did fall, but they have their initiators up, and Team Atino's out. This is cooked.
Done and dusted, surely. So much to offer here. All of these stars to just stall away. Darkest is going to at least thwart the first with this gravity well, no doubt. Oh no, they'll use the recon bolt first, actually, to confirm nobody's even touching it. Salvos for spacing. This will get half, I think. Oh no, Darkest doesn't even hold it. Of course, too scared. Gravity wells up. Can't do a damn thing.
Extra's just running straight in, the martyr. We have so much money. Just why not go in there and have some fun? And now Envy starts to pull away here. I mean, yeah, 3 in a row picked up for them. A little bit of back and forth forces Core into a timeout to reassess how they've been playing that. And it's not like Core have been playing that super bad, right? They have really good holds. No. In that round specifically, it really was off of Eggster specifically having that ultimate in the pocket to be able to pop it and get a lot of info. I guess the one unfortunate thing was Snarly backing out. I will say, good on them for holding back, because last time Snarly was in that position, they got caught with a knife in their hand and got backstabbed very quickly. And you did have the rest of the Core roster. But again, the thing that is really different between Core and Envy right now is the aggression that we are seeing out of it. So I feel like the timeout should help reset the mental and say, hey guys, we are also excellent shooters. We're young bucks that are ready to go and just grab them. I sound really old right now for some reason, but that's really the case. It's just to reset that mental and say, hey, we just need to kind of shoot back against a squad that is fragging out of their mind.
Yeah, at this point when they're activated, it's pretty much an already told tale. Yeah. It's a story that's already been told 1,000 times, right? It's a streak we've already seen so often before.
I thought the story would just be, yeah.
Cutting through.
But no, I agree. by all accounts here. And on an eco again for Core, it's just going to be time for NV to get a pretty nice round score, double digits, secure themselves a little bit more of a nest egg.
Foolish.
Getting face.
No winners here on the attempted retake. Oh, Kainzera, I don't know what part of Timotino's hitbox you got that shorty on, but it's enough.
Sleep.
Snarly, the only one good here for one at the moment. Got still the sheriff in hand, but the one way to stall you out. Cosmic Divide was, I think, the right call still here from Ion, just to guarantee that no one could sneak you real quick on the flashes. Everybody was walled out pretty immediately there, and you could go ahead and finish the round before Core could blink twice.
Yeah, and even then, you invest a Cosmic Divide, you still have 3 up on the board. You have the Empress available for Kainzera, who is close to dropping 20 and gonna keep climbing up through and through. You have the rest of the roster. I believe there was also a Hunter's Fury as well as Inspire's Ultimate of Neural Theft, so there's a lot to work on. On the flip side, though, Core gotta buy up some heavy weaponry and some light shields, so a little bit of a mismatch in combination, but they need to do something to stop the bleeding.
Revealing area.
Yeah, you got to start coming up with different ideas. Get really creative here. Timotino ready on this. Kainzera traditionally not using those leers off rip, and Timo able to punish it.
There's those Prowlers coming through. I'm looking at this lean towards A site. Now that it's been stomped by Core, the fact that they're able to kind of like reassess here Envy on the mid round, I kind of enjoyed their A takes, right? So for Envy, this is a really good call. On the flip side, though, Snarly's already rotated back B.
This is relying really heavily on Timo and Darkus, but this stealth drone will at least get the early.
Back soon.
That is disgusting.
Group for a retake. Spike goes down in a really interesting spot because Inspire's already tucked in towards Art. It's kind of allowing them to play from a variety of angles.
Very much present for this early, and Eggster trying to play close. Dealt with. Ion playing the other side of the salvos. Won't swing just yet. Waiting for Inspire to do his dirty work. Can't do much. Ion sprays for the one. Nebula to protect the remainder of Core, who pick up that last kill. So the streak will get stopped here by Core, as their retake is solid enough. They have just enough time left on the board. That opening kill as well. Very solid way to get things started.
Yeah, cleaning up on the retake. And I was even giving Envy a bit of praise that they were rotating back towards A and there was a counter read out of Core. But again, numbers and weaponry win out at the end of the day. Something that I would like to see more out of Core, at discipline that they've come to really show us here. And now they're going back to the light shields. They're going to keep that through and through. But they have 3-3 ultimates on the board, both sides. I would say looking to invest, right? Now that we're deeper into this game.
Certainly. Both of these teams really willing to continue just falling into their comfort zones. Big Nightfall for this attack is going to let Eggster just walk right up the flowers and catch Snarly early on. Just stick around and see if he can find one more. Bait out the Yoru clone at the very least. Knows about that. Gets rid of the stealth drone too. He's got this whole backside completely locked down and not peeked just yet. Finally, it's going to get pinched and punished, but as the damage already been done, as the time already been wasted, Kainzera already starts peeking and starts fragging himself. 1v2 for Nerve as Inspire scurries on back. And he has the Neural Theft for extra intel if it's reduced to a 1v1, but Kainzera, I imagine, will refuse to let that happen. 3 now for the Reyna and 11 for Envy on their Pearl as they want to continue that run right where they left off.
Big question on my mind is Kainzera holding this Empress for Haven, because they've been having so many ultimates they didn't really need to use them yet. I think both teams are kind of hesitant to try and find the right opportunity. And more than that, for Envy, it's been very solid in terms of being able to wrap things back in. Now, this timeout out of core makes total sense. You just were supposed to win round 19. You picked it up. The steamroll needed to fall back in your favor to get it to a time game, and it didn't happen. So not only a mental reset, but a talk about how they're going to counter this newfound aggression. Because what happened there was Envy just immediately ran on the site, decided, hey, we're just going to get this plant, right? We popped the Nightfall preemptively to try and stall him down, and that allowed Exter to just get into such a crucial position. Now, again, it is a lot of X-Factor situations that come through for Envy, where it is Exter popping off, KaneZera popping off, one of these players doing a one-off crazy thing. But at the end of the day, that is something that Core needs to take into account. If you're going to be playing against a team that has these star individual players, as well as the consistency to play together when push comes to shove, allow the post-plant utility to really shine for itself, as well as allowing players like KaneZera to stay alive in the post-plant and really manipulate the way that they're being played, well, Core needs to adapt to that, and that's the big question. They go for a buy-up yet again, and at this point, if they lose, that's Pearl over.
As long as they're able to continue isolating members of Envy, can keep them from fully enabling one another like they're so easily able to, then this fight should be taken a lot easier by Core. And already you see KaneZera getting active again with this dry peek, and now he's going to try and double down on it, but Snarly not only gets that, but picks up Extra on top of it. Poppin has to try and double down with this ultimate, and he does! 2 for him, yet again, with this ultimate. Absolutely unreal. Inspire uses that time to creep back up, but Darkest is ready with the peek, taking this down to a 2v3. Ion going to try and double down on that position, has wide, Darkest thwarted, back to a 2v2.
This has been just whiplash through and through. We went from fireworks to whiplash here, and now the double up needs to be found for at least one of these teams here. But Poppin gonna walk straight through the sheer, giving Nerve all the info they need for Core.
Has to plant on the back of the boxes. Nerve is here, ready. Nebula's placed to protect Logan's swing. They're gonna throw the Steel Garden into this as well. And the Cosmic Divide. As Poppin and Ion run back with these rifles in tow, they do have some util to throw at the problem. Owl drone first, immediately taken down. Ion is planted, and not good for a kill. You have shock darts that you can use on this spike at first, but with this silence, he just has to toss them to stall things out until this ultimate fades away, which it will in time for him to spray this down, but Logan continues holding the spike, and Poppin will not have a reliable way to get a fight before that will end. Core, take us to 9.
Ooh. And it's not over for Core, right? It looked very grim for them. If they lost that round, it probably would have just been over, right? Because it's match point, and then they don't have anything to buy up. They don't have a loss bonus to rely on. They don't have much to work with here. But again, they are on the back foot, so they now need to pick up a steamroll. Very solid round out of Envy as well, being able to take down a lot of players here, and Poppin playing on recovery. I think the timing, though, out of mid was just a little bit rough, right? Nerve had the read that, okay, you know, we've been seeing a lot of one side of utility. We see a lot of Sova, but nothing out of this Astra.
Yeah, unfortunately, not much to be seen just yet when it comes to that clutch factor that we know he has in him. Big take up by Envy, and Exter bamboozles with that decoy. Snarly, too much to pay attention to, so you've got that dry takeover going. Still a lot of the tank. Inspire, his own dry swing, good for 1, and confirms Logan's position now that Exter and Poppin are going to try and twist the knife deep into. Easy pickup. In theory, no, Logan trades it back. And so it's still a struggle, a 2v2, as Exter circles on back after Timo reveals that operator to grab a kill of his own. Now trying to get closer range to infest the rest of this site, grab those reliable bits of spacing, and with the help of the stars, he'll have a little bit of extra space to work with. The gravity well, the first bit of stalling. Now you try and spray through that smoke. Some damage done to Timotino. It's enough. They find the shot. Now it's Nerve's turn. Half the spike done. Smoke about to dissipate. Nerve gets it done. Core have just enough to get through and take themselves to 10.
Ah, that is wild. We're talking about back-to-back narrow defuses here. And the reason that's so important is now looking at the state of this game, it is a rough buy for both sides. Now, it's a lot rougher for Envy here. who looked prized to kind of lock it in. And Core just managing to steal it away from them time and time again. Core understand that they really need to focus on this objective. I'm also loving the fact that Timotino is up here picking up the Outlaw down towards mid. So they're going to play a little bit more reactive, a little bit more up to what Envy's going to do here. And Envy on the flip side, they're just stacking towards B, barreling down, ready to take the fights.
Cosmic Divide to fully assist their push. The Outlaw's not on this side. Armageddon fully takes over this lane. They're just trying to skirt it, and they barely will. Extra, meanwhile, in the back line, able to distract the rest of the team from trying to follow up. But now Timo's here. He kills half the team with his Outlaw. He can't get anything done. Rest of Core trying to swing from the back line. But Ion's gotten back inside, and he's been able to pick up the refrags to get the space Envy needs to work off that Cosmic Divide. Meanwhile, Inspire all the way back in Spawn to try to find the remainder of this, but Snarly's starting to creep up behind him. This might be missed time, and he'd take them to a 2v2.
Yeah, but I will say,
Enemy remains.
okay, made too much noise. Whatever you want to call it there. Just made too much noise. Snarly gets spotted out. Darkest has got to go for this save. They already invested their ultimate. They want to make sure to keep their Vandal secured. And what a great round out of Envy, right? A has been a sore site for both teams, especially on the defense. Oh, no, Poppin's been spotted. Unfortunate, but still. Envy now realize, okay, if we just run it down towards the B site, we have the caliber of players to really go toe-to-toe with Core Gaming. And we know, okay, what are we going to do here? We're just going to fight out, right? Allow Kainzera and Eggster to fight. The rest of the team wraps around them. Inspire has consistently been lurking. Sometimes the lurks work, sometimes they don't. In this case, it works in their favor. And they got themselves match point.
I'm very impressed with their ability to also be able to avoid that Armageddon and then come right back around so quickly following that proc. They spread onto the site so effectively after the fact. That Cosmic Divide, of course, big assist for that one. Is it enough to get Envy over the line here? 2 rounds to work with. Get to game point.
I like the spread, though, out of Envy. I think it's really good. They're allowing Inspire to work in towards mid. I am worried about it, though. Never mind. Shouldn't have been. Info gained out of Timotino. The entire stack is towards this A site. So they're going to probably rotate this Astra over.
Who's next?
Now Eggster with a dimensional drift of his own. Put the foot to the floor. Pressure out whatever members of Core may be on here. You got to know where our stack was. I would like to know where your stack is, and I would like to use Poppin's ultimate on it yet again. This duo is just so lethal in the back lines. Poppin just given free reign, open season with this ultimate. It is unbelievable. Logan at least takes care of Kainzera's dry swing outside, but the quick counteraction from Ion deals swiftly with that too. 1v4 for Nerve, and Inspire, the early check is enough for Poppin to grab the space and the kill. 13-10 for Envy. Core continue to fight, continue to put up power swings, but at the end of the day, Envy has enough and wins enough fights to still be the better team.
Oh, yeah. Envy has proven that they can win almost any game. I mean, they have had a flawless record so far, and they want to continue doing that. Yeah, they showed some weaknesses. There was a little bit in terms of the strategy, but at the end of the day, the fundamentals are just phenomenal on this squad. You mentioned it, the conversion rate of the double ultimate combo of the Dimensional Drift Hunter's Fury, it's such a great and refreshing thing to see out of them. All in all, though, huge congrats to Envy for picking it up, especially with Core, who had very good strats. They called multiple timeouts. They made multiple adjustments to try and play around the way Envy did and adapt. But it seems like when the fundamentals are true and when you are ready to just frag out of your mind, you're going to be able to win most matches.
Well, it was a good thing that Core did have a deep playbook on that map, considering it was their pick. We'll see how they fare when we go to Haven, which is Envy's after the break. Don't go anywhere.
I don't think I have a favorite, but I am a fan of many cereals. I won't lie. Fruit Loops, Fruity Pebbles are like okay, but like Captain Crunch, very good. I love Captain Crunch. Then there's a lot of like low key ones too that I gotta keep like hidden, but I do like cereal.
My comfort food is probably some pho, some banh mi. Like my mom's like a really good cook, so she makes like a lot of good Vietnamese food.
My comfort food would probably be poutine. I miss Quebec. I miss the food there, so I would say poutine will make me feel at home and good straight up.
For me, my favorite comfort food would be like a nice warm soup.
I gotta focus. I'm shifting the soup mode.
It's just real nice and warm and hearty inside. There's nothing like it when it's like nice and cold. Especially where like I'm from, it's like mostly cold like year round, except for maybe like 3-4 months. I'd say it's generally cold. So soup is definitely like my comfort food.
Probably like a nice cheeseburger or like some good pizza. It's like pretty chill. Can't really go wrong with that. Maybe pancakes. Ooh, pancakes. Oh.
I think my mom's mac and cheese. I had that like a lot growing up, and it's like definitely like a favorite of mine to have when I go back home from college. So yeah, I'd say my mom's mac and cheese is really good.
That's kind of hard. I feel like a comfort food is something that like comes from my culture, just something like my mom would make or like my grandma would make. So I'll say some biryani. It's like a Pakistani dish that they would make a lot. It's just like some rice, some lamb or chicken, and it's just really good. So I'd say that.
My comfort food has to be like Chick-fil-A. You can't go wrong with their chicken sandwiches. So always spicy. Yeah, spicy is always better.